Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, yes, last session we learned about the MongoDB commands, how to handle them. In the commands, we learned about creating database and creating a collection. So, we created collection and we learned about collection options. We learned about collection related some options. What are important options? So collection have auto index ID, size, max, another one cap. We have different types of collections available. Later we will learn about other type of collections. First we learned about a capped collection. What is capped collection? Capped collection after reaching the max, whether to allow the new records or not, it is decided by using what? Cap. Capped can be set to true or false. You can set it to true or false, right? Next, some basic questions are here. So one important question is, so how to identify capped collection? So by using is capped method. By using is capped method, we can identify the capped collection. That means whether a collection is a capped or not, we can verify by using is capped. So actually, simple point, it is a Boolean method that returns true if collection is capped. If collection is capped, it returns true. Right. So that is a capped collection. For example, you see here, so MongoDB compass. Some people got issue in installing. Have you resolved it? Huh? Working fine? Because for offline people, I asked you to visit the lab so that the admin will take care about that. Huh? Is it working? Right? Installation is working for them, right? Online people also, if anybody facing problem in installation, I will give one hardware in charge number. You can contact them. They will set up and install for you in your PCs. Online people, if they have offline people, if you have any problem, You can bring your laptop to lab. Our hardware in charge will be there. He will install it if you have any issues. Okay. Now, what is the point is capped. So let's see, we have collection created. So I think last session we deleted dropping collections, dropping database we learned. So what is the command? So use database name is sample DB. That is the database name. Sample DB is database. And so db dot create collection. Collection name. Collection name is products and some categories something. And we haven't given any options. Then we have defined here. You can see what happens here. We need to understand the type. We need to know whether the collection show collection name is what? Categories. db dot categories collection name dot is capped. Is capped is a function, it will return or false. You see it is false. If you want, you can turn it on. You can turn it on. Capped can be true or false. So if you set to true, then it will take true. It depends on global configuration. In your Mongodb configuration servers, in server administration, we can set default settings. In default settings, we can change. In my default settings, I changed the capped as what? False. In your default settings, you can change the server. It will be true or false. Default usually it will be true. Capped can be set to true. If you want, you can set it to false. It depends. Server configurations we can change. We can change. That is not required for you because you will later learn about administration. When you learn administration of databases, there you will learn. As of now, our job is not administration. So we will learn just basic, what is required for that. Okay. This is one concept. Syntactically how to do db dot collection name dot what? Capped. Is capped. It will return true or false. So another option is how to change a normal collection to capped collection. How to change a normal collection to capped collection. So actually these are all last learnt, but basic points I am giving. Later at the end we will learn about modifications, right? First we will create, then we will learn about modification. Just points I am giving here. Later we will see modification because we need to create. So how to modify is actually the databases usually have a command called run command. db dot we have run command. Run command uses the properties. Here we have to enter collection name. Collection name is what? Collection name is what? Products. So categories are categories or products collection name. So here we have to define size. That means the capped size. What is the capped size you want? So capped max. So actually there is an option called convert. Convert to what? Capped. We can set convert to capped as true or false. If it is not a capped collection, you can convert into the capped collection. So what you need to do here, convert to capped option we have to use. Convert to capped. So this is convert to capped we have to use. So what it is going to do, it will convert the normal collection into a capped collection, right? So here we have to use, so by using db run command with the convert to capped attribute, with convert to capped attribute, convert to capped attribute. Convert to cap. So syntactically, this is the syntax. It's not copied. It's not copying. So db run command collection name convert to capped. You can set it to convert to capped. Convert to capped. These we will do later after learning clearly how to create the capped with some data. Basic questions I am giving. These all we will implement. How to implement, how to design, we will see that. Another question asked is like, can we change the capped size? We can change the capped size. These all will come in modification of collections. When we learn modification of collections, I will tell you. But those are all possible. Just basic questions you note down. Then we will discuss about them in modification. So if anyone asks like, can we change the capped size and capped column, capped max length? Can we change the capped size and capped max length? So we can change the capped size and capped max length. For that you need an attribute called column modification. That means answer is yes by using call modify attribute. With capped size and capped length. We can do that by using capped size and capped length. So we will learn all these in later options. Once we create all the collections, then we learn about how to modify. But when you create a collection, yesterday, last session, we discussed about capped. So these points you should know. Implementation later. We will create one collection and we will create capped and we will see how to implement it. So initially, you learned how to create database and the collection and how to define the options for that. We have clustered collections, capped collections, timestamp collections, different types of collections in MongoDB. First basic collection we will see. We'll see about others later. Now, next point is, today we need to learn how to insert data into database collection. Insert data into database collection. So one basic difference we learned. Already clearly we discussed about the difference that in MongoDB collections are schemaless. We don't have a predefined structure for data. Because when in MySQL, while creating the collection itself, we define the structure for the data. Here, data structure is dynamically defined while storing the data. When you are storing the data, we dynamically define that. So here, how we insert data into collection, two methods are there. MongoDB latest version recommends one is insert one and insert many. Actually, in old version, we used to have insert, but that insert is no longer recommended. It is recommended to use two methods, insert one and insert many. Actually, older versions, even today, several websites or YouTube videos will show you a command called insert. But from latest version of MongoDB, that insert is no longer recommended. They have marked it as deprecated. So you should not use insert, either insert one or insert many. We have to use these methods. And very important is every document is JSON type. Every document is JSON type. So JSON is JavaScript object notation. One more point here I will give here. Every document is a JSON type, a JavaScript object notation, and the data types of fields, are referred as BSON type. Binary serialization object notation actually. BSON type, binary serialization object notation actually. This is JSON and BSON types are important to understand. Serialization, deserialization is a concept in computer programming. In computer programming, while working with front-end, back-end databases, you will come across with a concept of serialization, deserialization. XML, JSON have these important terms. In Node.js also you will learn about it. The point is serialization, deserialization, and sometimes in technical terms we also call COM to marshal. COM marshalling. Actually serialization, deserialization is nothing but, suppose we have some object. This object is in the front end. In the front end we have an object. In backend database, it need to be stored. Now what we need to do is we need to send this object into backend servers. It should store the data there. How data is transported? Actually, this object is converted into a binary format. Through binary format, the data is converted, because binary formats are the only formats that can transport through wire or Wi-Fi. Through Wi-Fi or wire, the data transport happens in a network using binary. These digital binary signals are converted into digital electronic signals. They are transported, and the data, what it will do, it will convert the binary again into which format? Object format. The data which is in an object form, it is converted to binary, it is transported, and it is again stored in the object form. So what you see is object, what you store is object, but what you transfer is not object. The transfer of data in a network happens using binary format. It uses the binary format for transferring. This process of converting an object code to binary and again binary to object and storing the data in the store, this process is called serialization. Serialization is collecting the data from binary format, converting the data into an object and storing that object. This process is called serialization. Serialization is nothing but saving, but not just saving, by converting and saving. That is called serialization. Again, if I want to show this, it has to convert the object into binary, again from binary to object, and show you. This is called deserialization. Deserialization means reading, serialization means writing. Understood? Any file in a network, any data in a network, storing is serialization and reading is a deserialization. Storing happens with a mechanism called serialization, and reading happens with a mechanism called deserialization. If anyone asks what is serialization, deserialization, it is a network process of storing the data and reading the data. You will see this more when you are learning APIs. When you create APIs and all, we will see that. XML, JSON, these all have to follow the mechanism of serialization, right? So actually, what is serialization? Here one important question here I will give. What is serialization? And deserialization. What is serialization and deserialization? The process of converting an object code object into binary in order to transport via network and store in a in data store, in data source I will give, is known as serialization. The process of converting an object to binary in order to read and display is known as deserialization. Deserialization. In simple point, writing is serialization, reading is deserialization. Serialization and deserialization. Yeah, air condition cool coming up, cooler cool is coming because he is sleeping. Person beside you, the black, very cool coming up, sleep, had good lunch, now time to sleep now. That's why I asked my people not to put coolers. Once you are sweating, then you will concentrate. Cool air comes, sleep. I am singing a song here. You sleep. This hour is okay. Actually, 2 p.m. hour, some batches happen. People come to attend those batches just for coolers. Because in their rooms it's very hot. They want to sleep here. So that's the reason I don't take 2 p.m. batches. Because that is sleeping batch. Everybody have full lunch. Now time to sleep. At 5 p.m. also you are sleeping means now imagine 2 p.m. what we will do. Right. So let's see here how we can store the data. Serialization, deserialization, right? So data is in which format? JSON. But in Mongodb, we usually call it as what? BSON. So here, data types almost same as your JavaScript types. In JavaScript, you will learn about data types, primitive, non-primitive types, almost similar types. See, some important types you need to understand here. So, object is a key and value collection. Object is a key and value collection. You know that where key is what type? String. Key is string type and value can be any BSON type. Value can be any BSON type. That means here we need an object means a block. We will have a key and we have a value. We have a key and value. So how we can store the data? Let's see. And what are the various BSON types are? So number we have means I will simply say primitive types and non-primitive. What are primitive types? Generally in JavaScript we have primitive types called number, string, boolean, null, undefined. Those are primitive types. One more is their symbol. Non-primitive means array, object. These are non-primitive types. You have regular expression. You have date types. So we will learn how to handle various data types, how we can manage data types. Actually, you see now, syntactically, we have to use db dot collection name dot insert one, and here you need to give an object, key and a value. We can add more keys and a value. Keys and values are separated with a comma. This is inserting one record. That is inserting one record. If you want to insert multiple records at a time, db dot collection name dot insert one, we need an array of objects in that key and a value. So this is one object, comma, another object, key and value. Like this, we need to insert many. That is for inserting many. Insert one I given, it is insert many, not one. Insert, this is what many. Insert many is an array, insert one is an object. So at a time you can insert one record or you can insert multiple records. And in the data types, we will see different data types, how to handle them, how we can handle different data types. Actually, when you are dealing with data, so the value type can be any one of the following BSON. I have a presentation. The value type can be any one of the BSON. Any one of the BSON. Actually, BSON types, these are the BSON types. You need to know this BSON type aliasing. You should know these data types. I will copy this. These are the BSON type and names. So many are there. All are not required for us. Some I will copy here. Yeah. So the BSEN types, we have this. You can just make a note of this one. These are one type. This is another I will give. We will discuss about this one by one. These are the BSEN types. So you can just make a note about these types. Oh, this is sharing one screen. So you make a note about this. These are the types. But actually we don't mention this. This is only the list provided by MongoDB. MongoDB says that your types can be any of these, but you don't have their names. I will tell you what they are, how to write them. That means it is not data type. That means directly, because it is not strongly typed, but these are the regular recommended types of MongoDB, BSEN. Double, string, object, array, binary data, undefined, object ID, boolean, date, null, regular expression. Almost majority of the types we already learn usually in JavaScript. We learn about them. So in this, I hope majority JavaScript people know double is nothing but number type. Number means you know that in JavaScript a number can be signed, unsigned, floating point, double. What else? Decimal. It can be big int. Big int also is there. Hexadecimal, octa, and binary. These all comes under number. See, in here we don't have data type, but they say that you make sure that your data type is any of these. You will not mention any type, but according to the value you assign, it will consider them as these types. If you entered some value like 10.45, then it will think that it is an double or decimal numbers, right? This is one, this is another set. This is another set. DB pointer, JavaScript, symbol, int, timestamp, long, decimal, min key, max key. In JavaScript also same you will learn. Na? In JavaScript you have primitive types, non-primitive types, but anywhere you don't mention the type. So according to the value, it will identify that it is a boolean or it is a string or it is a number or it is a regular expression. You already know. So how they identify? Suppose if the value is like this, if the value is like this, it is what type? No? Regular expression type. It is a regular expression type. That means it is a regular expression. It will have meta characters and quantifiers. In JavaScript, double slash is a regular expression. Now, if I mention like this, it is an object. So if I mention that is an array. Suppose if I mention like this, boolean, it is a boolean type. So depending on that, suppose if it is like so some value like this, then this is what type? Decimal type. Suppose I defined some lengthy number and it is an integer. If I give n suffix, it is what type? Begin type. Suppose it is exponent type. It is an exponent type. So binary type. Octa have O, hexa have X, right? These are all different types. These are different. So you don't have data type. That means just like MySQL, you don't have a data type restriction here. Just like MySQL, you don't have data type restriction. But point is, when you define some value, automatically according to the value, it will determine the data type. What is this mechanism called as? There is no fixed data type, but according to the value you initialized or assigned, it will identify the data type and make that value as particular type. What this mechanism is called? Dynamically typed. In JavaScript, you will learn about implicitly typed or dynamically typed. Dynamically typed means the values you assign, according to the value, the data type will be determined. That means, for example, actually, suppose we have this. You said some age. What is its data type? It is not known. It is undefined. It is undefined. Once you entered something, it will be number. If you put a, it will be string. So it will be array. It will be object. It will change. So you don't need, there is no chance of mentioning the type. Then why I given the list of those names? Because they are recommended types. That means MongoDB considers your value as any of those following. Any of those following. It considers the value as any of those following. You can't restrict. You can't restrict. So that is the problem with these non-structural databases. That is the problem with MongoDB like database. Schemaless, we call it as schemaless. That means Now how do we insert here? Let's see the point here. I will give an option here. The commonly used types. The commonly used types. What are the commonly used types? One is number type. So number type means actually int. In the list, I given a list now. In that, what you have? You have a long, you have a double, another you have a decimal. These are number type. Integers, longs, double and decimal. These are number type. Number type. That means how do we define? Some age is equal to 22. Suppose some rate is equal to 4.5, like this. Reviews is equal to reviews is suppose 560. Like this we can have some values. Just roughly I am keeping number type. I am keeping number type. So that is number type values. Another one is string. String type. So you have a single quote and you have a double quote. You have a backtick also, na? String can be single quote, double quote and backtick. Actually, Mongodb recommends single quote. Single quote is recommended. Single quote is recommended when you are representing a single string. You know when to use double and single quote, vice versa. What is it? Outer string, double quote, inner string, single quote. You know that. So how you define name? As single quote or double quote, like this we define. That is a string type. What is another one is Boolean. Boolean type, it uses only true or false as value. It uses only true or false as value. Suppose I say stock, you can say true or what? False. Directly the words we use Boolean. Already you people know this, but some people are attending this batch. So without complete JavaScript knowledge, some people are attending these batches. That is the reason for them I need to explain these points. For JavaScript people, no need, already they know all these data types. So usually that is Boolean. So when you define null and undefined, if value is expected dynamically, then set as what? Null. So if value is not defined statically, then set as undefined. Undefined. You directly have the value. Some name is null. Some price is undefined. Like this we can have. Later they can be defined with values. If value is not defined statically, this one. I am giving important data types that we regularly use in databases. In our project also, we will implement all these types and see how to handle. So null, undefined, boolean. Now next one, we have another one is symbol. What is symbol? Usually symbol is used to configure a unique hidden field. It is used to configure a unique hidden field. In JavaScript, there is a data type called symbol. Configure a unique hidden field. It is hidden over iterations, but accessible individually. So actually, it is some ID is a symbol type, is a symbol. JavaScript have a symbol data type that is used to hidden the fields, hide the fields to define hidden fields. Another important is regular expression. So it uses a set of meta characters and quantifiers enclosed in slash slash. So mobile is having some pattern slash plus 91 slash D 10 digits. You learned how to write the pattern. That is regular expression. Regular expression. Right. So numbers, strings, booleans, null, undefined, symbol, regular expressions. Another is array. It is a collection of, it is a sequential collection of values. You already know in JavaScript, it is not similar type of values. Array is not a collection of similar type of values. In JavaScript, array is a collection of values. It can be of same type or different type. MongoDB, same. Actually, you will learn in JavaScript, array is used for reducing overhead and the complexity. And usually arrays in JavaScript can handle different types. The same concept here. Generally, arrays in other languages are restricted to handle only same type. Here they can handle different types. So what is the point is, so we need here array. It can have a collection of various data types. Collection of various data types. Syntactically, you know, cities, suppose some values. It can be 10, it can be A, it can be true, different types of values. Actually, Arrays in your JavaScript are defined with array constructor. Here it is recommended to use meta character. So it is always recommended to use only array meta character. Array meta character is square brace. Generally, if it is JavaScript, we can use a array constructor. Array constructor is how new array. There is difference na? Array meta character and array constructor, we have difference. Here you need a meta character. What is difference between constructor meta character? That means you can have var values is equal to new array, or you can have var values is equal to array. What is difference? The first one, new array, is a dynamic memory. It allocates dynamic memory for array. Dynamic memory means newly allocated every time when you request. Second one is a static. Once the memory allocated, the same memory will used across number of requests. So the difference you already know. One is static, another one dynamic. So here you cannot have new array constructor. You can have a meta character you want to store. Next important is about object type. Object type. It is a key and value collection. So you can configure embedded objects. You can configure embedded objects. Actually, suppose rating. Rating is an object which have rate and which have count like this. That is an object type. Rating is an object. Object contains a key and a value. The keys and values can be again any type, array or string or number, any type. So that is a object type. And next important is date. So date and time. Date and time. Date and time, actually in JavaScript, how do you store date and time? In JavaScript, you store date and time by using date constructor. We have to use the date constructor. Here we use a date operator. $date is an operator. By using this $date operator, you allocate memory for the date. Allocate memory for the date. And you learned in JavaScript, date and time must be in which format? It is a string. Date and time is a string. It should be in which format? Year. Year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. In this format, you need to enter the date. Date time values are defined in this format. It is always a fixed one. Year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds. You need to configure that by using this date operator. Generally in our JavaScript, we use new date. Here we need to define by using this date. One specialty is there in Mongodb. It directly supports JavaScript. So what you can do is, you can create one JavaScript file .js. In that you mention some set of commands, and when you run that file, automatically it will create table, database, everything. it will convert all your JavaScript data types into MongoDB types. That means you can use new date and it automatically converts into date. But directly when you are storing a date in MongoDB, you have to use this date operator. You have to use date operator. But MongoDB supports complete JavaScript. Advantage is directly JavaScript methods can be added, right? So later you will create such files. I told you now ORM. ORM means what? So you plan according to business requirements. Even database is not there, it will create. It will create database, it will create tables. You just write the logic, according to that it will generate. We will see that how it happens. So date actually, so bson date is defined by using $date operator. So it uses a date value, date and time value as string. So here we need simply like, suppose MFD, manufactured, $date. Actually $date is using a date. Actually this is date. Yeah. In that $date uses a string. Hours, minutes, seconds, sorry, first what? Years. Year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds and milliseconds. Using the date. So these are the commonly used data types. Sometimes people ask like, if I want to store a photo, what should be the data type? Actually these days we don't convert photo to binary. Earlier we used to do that. That means any number type you can use which can store a large binary number and you can store the photos. But these days what we do is, photos we upload into a physical location on server and we use their path. That means images usually will be what type? String. String means actually we save the path in the database. We don't save directly photos. We don't directly save the photos. Actually we can do that. In backend you will learn. When we learn Node.js, we will learn two techniques. One is photo is uploaded and its path is saved in database. Another one, directly photo is converted into binary that is stored in the database and again we read. That is a difficult one. That is lengthy process. These days we don't recommend that, but we have such options to do. So these are all the types you need to know. Let's see how to create some data now. So what you have to do, let's go into this collection. Show collections. We have a collection called categories. I want to store simple data in this. db dot, what is it? Categories dot what? Insert one. Insert one. Here we need to mention the object. Object in a block, we need key and value. Key is some category ID, colon and 1. You said that key is string type. It is string type automatically when you write in console, when you write in shell. When you write in graphical form, you have to manually write as a string. Actually string means what? You have to put in quotes, na? But when you are writing through shell commands, by default it is string. You don't need to write in double quotes. Double quotes not required and it will not allow because default it uses as string. When graphically you are adding, then you need to represent like a string because you already learned in JavaScript. Directly you can store data in a JSON file. Na? Remember? Na? Suppose when you use JavaScript, what you do? Suppose you are writing a JSON object, JavaScript object. Actually, how we store the JavaScript object? Usually how we store? We have an object. So, and we have a key and value. So that means suppose ID as 10, like this we can store. So name as some TV like this. Suppose it is stored in var x is equal to some value we are storing. This is automatically taken as a string type. Its data type is what? Number. The keys are automatically string. But if you are trying to store anything in a JSON file, suppose we have a JSON file. In JSON file, we have an object. Here I mentioned some name. It is invalid. Why? Because here key must be defined in which type? String. Mandatory. When you are writing in script, not required. Directly it will take a string. So this basics generally we know. Same thing we have to follow here. From the command line, shell, when you are writing, you can directly write key. And what is the another key? Category name. Category name is some electronics. That is how we are defined. And hit enter. One record is stored. One record is stored. You can see acknowledged true and one is inserted. I told you automatic an ID is generated. Na? Auto index ID is generated. It generates an ID. It will keep an ID there. Automatic ID. We don't want that ID to use. So I given my own ID also. If you don't want this auto ID, you have to, while creating table, you have to set auto index ID as what? False. By default, it is true. So it is stored. Okay, let's do one thing. Go to graphical mode. Here we have database called sample data DB. In this we have collection called what? Categories. In categories already you see one ID is generated and our own IDs also we have. A unique ID is automatically generated for every product. Now you want to add a new record. You see in the graphical mode, you have a new document. When you select insert document, it will show like this. Here you have to write in a JSON type. That means remove this, a object in that key and value. Here compulsory key must be what type? String. It is very case sensitive, right? Also. So here we have category ID and what is it? 2 and category name. So and here category name some footwear like this we add. And when I say insert, that means it is going to insert that record there. That is basic, right? In the shell commands, we directly write them. In the shell command, we directly write them. In the general graphical mode, we have to put in string format, right? So here I will give you the example now here. Now example inserting documents. Inserting single document. We have to do like this. db dot categories dot insert one. Category ID. Category name. You can use any. Here there are no constraints. Huh? There are no constraints. We don't have any constraint. That means foreign key constant, primary key constants, unique key constant, not null constants. We don't have constants, but we have certain conditions also. We will learn so much is there. Huh? So there is no primary key, there is no foreign key, there is no unique key. Actually, we have another type of collection called clustered collection. In clustered collection, you can have one unique key. Later, I will tell you about that clustered collection, one unique key. But here, we don't have because it is structureless. Na? Structureless means what? Structureless data means there is no possibility at all, unique or null. Why? Because in first record, you have category ID, category name. Suppose in the second record, if I store, first name as John and I given salary as some like this, is it any related data? But it will store. It will store. Then how you say that ID must be unique or ID must be primary key? In second record, there is no ID. One default primary key is added. What is it? Auto index ID. Others, there is no standard format actually. There is no structured. If there is no structured, there is no chance. That means how you will say which one is nullable. Suppose you say category name non-nullable. Non-nullable means it should have a value. But in second record, there is no category name. Right? There is no structured data here. For example, you see here db dot, what is it? Categories dot what? Insert one. In that insert one, I given as age record one object. Age is 31. And I given as suppose name is John. Like this, I am adding some data into it. It says true. And later you will learn querying. When you open, you can refresh and see here. You see that is also stored. There is no relation at all. There is no relation. Then which one you will say primary key, foreign key, which one you will say that unique, non-nullable. We don't have any constant because every record is independent. You can store anything. We can store anything. For example, I will delete this. Suppose I am adding a insert document. I am adding this. So this is like first name, some name, and suppose age is some age, and I say insert. It's inserted. There is no relation. There is no structure at all. Everything, but all are present in one collection. Present in one collection. There is no structured data. Then there is no point about keys. Primary key, foreign key, unique key, not nullable. There are no constants here. That is the reason this type of data doesn't suit everyone. If I need clean relationship, so then I need good analytics, then this kind of data formats, right? So usually that is the problem with this kind of databases. This is one record. How to add multiple records? Suppose footwear is there. I want to add two more. Let's go here how to add two more. db dot what? categories dot what? Insert many. Insert many array. You have to write array. Don't hit enter. Many people by mistake do that. If you hit enter, then it will execute the command. Because actually in JavaScript, we have an habit of writing in multiple lines for clean appearance. Here, no, one line. Multiple operations are not allowed. Just only one line. In one line only, you have to type everything. Don't hit enter at any place. Keep on typing. Once it reaches right edge, it will come automatically to next line. Don't hit enter. If you hit enter, command terminates in between. In between, command will terminate. So what you do? db dot categories dot insert many. Insert many. Insert many. Here array of objects. Category ID. Category ID, if I given same to, it will take. Then actually how we manage only unique numbers. For that, we need to write the logics. You know, I told you that JavaScript supports, it supports JavaScript. When it supports JavaScript, we can write a JavaScript program. In that, we can structure the data and we can insert. When you write a JavaScript program, you know that in program you can write validations. Na? That means verify whether input value is a number or not and allow only number. How you verify input value is a number or not? By using a method called isNaN. Is not a number, am I right? That means what we do is we write JavaScript logics for designing structured data like that. But by default, MongoDB will not allow. So you see category ID 2 I given. Suppose another one is what? Category name. Category name is some kids fashion. And another object, comma, another object. Category ID is what? 3. And what is that? Category name. Category name. So what is it? Some men's fashion. Something like this I given. Now when I hit enter, then it stores both. Now you can see when I open the database here and you can see refresh, you see both are there and two same. But remember, these are not primary keys. Na? This is primary key. That is a unique ID. But when you delete category ID 2, it will delete both of them. These are the issues in this kind of database, right? But for that, we need to set some restrictions in business level. At business level, as I told you, ORM uses a business logic. At that level, we need to put the restriction. Here, we don't have any such options, right? So here, you can modify if you want. So this is what later I will tell you how to modify. As of now, you see in the graphical mode, there is a pen edit button. You click that edit button and you can change this number. So number to 3 and update. It is updated. This number edit, this number to 4, then that is updated. Actually, we will learn commands, how to handle. Learn commands, but this is there. How do we insert multiple records? To insert multiple records, we need to use this query. We need to set up this query. This is for multiple. DB insert many. Insert one, insert many. It is array of objects. So at a time, you can insert one insertment. There is another technique also here. In graphical mode, what is advantage is you can prepare all your data in a JSON file and you can upload it. Automatically, everything it will create. That means you can manage your data in a JSON file. If I have to insert bulk, at a time I want to insert 100,000 records, then what you can do is you can create a JSON file and you can upload the JSON file directly. Then automatically it will generate everything for you. Bulk. For example, you see, I will show one point here. Graphically, you can do that. Graphically, you can directly upload. Suppose you open your Visual Studio Code, or generally we can design in Notepad also. Suppose I will open Notepad. In Notepad, how to create a JSON file? I am creating array of what? Objects. Key must be compulsory string. Suppose I given string as product ID. Suppose ID is a number. That is a string type. Okay. Next comma name. Name is TV. Comma. Another is price. Price is number. It can be decimal. So yeah. And we have next what? Suppose stock. Stock is a boolean or false. Another one is like cities. Cities, or we can say something like vendors. Vendors is an array. Some Sony and Samsung, LG, like this we have. And we have another one, rating. Rating is an object. Again, we have rate. It is some 3.5. Count, something like from 500. This is an object. This is one data. You can create multiple bulk data, na? Right? So here I will copy another product. Second, this is 2. This is like some shoe. This is some price. And stock through here we have like some Puma, like Nike, like this. I just added 1-2 details. And we have ratings and review. And after that, now array is ready. Okay. In this, you should be very careful. You miss the comma. You added additional comma. Those are all errors. You miss the data types. Everything is an error in JSON. We create like this. Go to File menu, save. I am saving on my desktop. On my desktop, any name. Suppose we will give the name as suppose products data dot JSON. You have to give extension dot JSON. Otherwise, it will become text. So products underscore data dot JSON and save. That is save. So what you do now? Create a table here. Create a collection. You know how to create a collection. DB dot what? create collection, collection name products. One collection is created and this products collection is actually empty now. In the products collection, nothing is there. Just you go here and import JSON. When you select import JSON, it will ask which JSON. In my desktop, I have what? Products JSON, products data. That is JSON select. That file is selected, then import. Automatically it will import. Two documents imported, their data type is automatically set. And this is a number, this is a string, this is number, this is boolean, this is an array, am I right? This is object, everything is set. You can simply import your JavaScript file, JSON. Automatically it will set up the data for it. We can manually add or we can import. That you can do graphically, but learning command is important. You should know the commands. We have insert, another one, insert one. This is single document. This is inserting multiple documents. That is inserting multiple documents. You have two options, insert one and insert many. Now we need to learn how to read, update, delete the data, how to modify the data. That is important. Reading is important. Now we will create one table with other data types, how to store date, how to store regular expression, how to store some other complex types. That we'll see tomorrow. Right? In tomorrow's session, we will learn how to add other type of data. As of now, simple data you are aware. Now date types, other types how to handle, we will see in next session. Tomorrow we'll do. Okay, right.